So since I wasn't able to do a review of both Thunderbolts and Jurassic World Rebirth because I was away on vacation, I decided, you know what, fuck it, I will do reviews of both. I'm gonna do both reviews of the trailers here on right now. I kind of figured it would probably be for the best to take care of it, because I really wanted to talk about Jurassic World Rebirth especially, and I do have some thoughts in the regards to I do have some serious thoughts in regards to Jurassic World Thunderbolts. Let's actually talk about Jurassic World Rebirth first. Jurassic World Rebirth, to me, really does feel like it's a new start. Like, it doesn't feel like we're regarding a lot of what happened in Dominion, but it's clear that they still want this to be in canon. Now, I do have some faith in this movie, because, again, Gareth Edwards, while I do think he's a good director, I wouldn't say he's, like, top 10, but I do think he was the best pick for what they wanted to accomplish. And Gareth Edwards is really good at scaling. He is phenomenal at scaling characters and also having, like, giving you the weight of these creatures too. Like, he's really good at, like, showing how small things are. Obviously, you saw that in Godzilla, and you saw that in his original film Monsters, and you also saw that a lot in Rogue One. So I think that how he's going to make those dinosaurs look, and also cinematography itself, I think is going to be really good. And of course, you have David Koepp, who is the original writer of Jurassic Park. And it's very clear that they're going to do because Koepp said in an interview that they're going to bring out something from the Jurassic Park novel that they couldn't do in the first movie but wanted to do here, and that translates to, we're going to do the riverboat scene. And it's very clear, like, we see the T-Rex in the water snapping at Scarlett Johansson, and we also see the Spinosaurs, more paleo-accurate Spinosaurs. Is it kind of sad? Does it suck that we're not having JP3 Spino? Yeah, but JP3 is not a great movie. The Spino's really cool. It is paleo accurate, but it's a cool design. And yes, they do kind of say, they've now recently said in continuity that was basically like a hybrid of sorts. Like, it was one of Dr. Wu's playthings. But to see more accurate Spinos, I do find it weird that, like, they're teaming up with the Mosasaur. Again, this isn't the Mosasaur we've seen before. This is the Mosasaur that is more paleo accurate, and I like that. I like that we're going with more accurate looking dinosaurs. So I think that's pretty cool. But I did find it weird that one scene where we see the pack of Spinos working with the Mosasaur. I hope they explain that. I hope they do explain how that's supposed to work. I'm very curious to see how that exactly is supposed to go down, because I'm just kind of like, okay, how the hell does that even work? Like, really, like, how does that even, like, function in what way? To see T-Rexes, or these new T-Rexes, we don't know where Rexy is, but we do know that these new Rexes look pretty cool. They look younger. They're more, like, steel gray. I kind of like the skin color design for these Rexes. I also really enjoy seeing, like, the Titanosaurs. And Quetzalcoatlus, it looks terrifying. It really does look like they're building up the Quetzal as a big threat, which I think is kind of awesome, because if you know your paleo knowledge, if you have any paleo knowledge, you'll know that, like, the Asdarchids, the species of, like, Quetzalcoatlus and other large pterosaurs, the Asdarchids, were probably some of the most terrifying things to ever live on Earth. Animals the size of giraffes that didn't swoop down and catch their prey. They landed and chased after it, and then stabbed it to death or swallowed it whole. That just kind of showcases of, like, how fucked up nature could be. So to have I know we had one in Dominion, but I didn't feel scared of it. Here, I feel like, oh, that thing's gonna be fucking terrifying. I'm wondering also what the raptors are gonna look like. I'm very curious to see where they go with it. It's just cool to see all the and other dinosaurs we might get. But yeah, let's actually talk about one dinosaur in particular, or rather, something that just kind of showed up, and I'm kind of like of two minds about it. That being the D-Rex. So the D-Rex is, apparently that's what its name. I don't know if that's the confirmed name, but that's the rumored name it's supposed to be. The D-Rex is basically not a hybrid, it's a mutant. It's not, and from what we see of it and what I've heard of it, it's Edwards said that they wanted to go with a design that looked like a mix of the T-Rex, the Rancor, and a Xenomorph. And I gotta say, that thing looks fucking disgusting, and I kind of like the design. It feels more like, it just doesn't feel clean. It doesn't feel right, and I like that. I like that, like, it's different from it differs itself from the Indominus and Indoraptor, and we get to see like this thing that was basically made wrong. And yeah, so I'm curious to see this thing in full form. It has these tiny little T-Rex arms too. It just looks unsettling. It also reminds me a lot of like the canceled show Jurassic Park Chaos Theory, where they had all these dinosaurs, one of them being the Doomsday Rex. So maybe that could be a correlation to that. So the D-Rex, I'm kind of okay with, even though, yes, we're doing another hybrid mutant thing, but here, I'm kind of like, it would make sense because of what the story they're doing with, which even then, I'm kind of like, really, we're doing another one of these? That being that the story is that this island in particular was holding all the dinosaurs that Jurassic Park couldn't take. Like, it's all the island that the Jurassic Park, like Isla Sorna and Hammond, they couldn't take on Isla Nublar. And I'm kind of like, so it's Site B. Like they said, like in the trailer, that it's like, yeah, this is the thing we use to like transport. Place was made for animals, and they were transported to Site, to Isla Nublar, the original Jurassic Park. And I'm kind of here sitting like, so it's Isla Sorna. You're doing Sorna again. But no, it's not Sorna. Okay, so we're doing a Site C thing, because that is a thing in deep lore of Site C in a lot of the like video games. So is that what we're kind of going for here? Is like a Site C kind of situation? I don't know. But I do have faith in this movie. It's really cool. They're really like Universal's really trying to push this movie. They've made it their forefront of their production. They have a lot of faith in it. So here's hoping. They put a lot of chips in this basket for this new franchise. So I'm guessing it better deliver, or there's going to be problems. Someone's going to get fired over this if this fucks up, because I imagine they looked at Dominion and seeing this and doing Rebirth so soon, it probably made them, shall we say, just a wee bit scared to doing this. So I have to, I have to wonder. So I do have trepidations. There are some trepidations, but I do have faith in this movie. Now let's move on to Thunderbolts. Now, like I said, I'm excited for all three MCU movies. We are only days away from Captain America, New World Order. And that's my second most anticipated. Fantastic Four is top of the market. But third place is Thunderbolts. And this trailer kind of showcased why Thunderbolts for me is number 3 in the list. I'm still interested and still excited for it, but at the same time, I'm also of the mindset that I'm very much of this mindset of, wow, this does not excite me the way Captain America and Fantastic Four especially do. It really does give me this whole vibe of go by the number. Like, I don't want to use that for MCU, but it really does feel like we've done this before. We have a squad of characters. They even say in the movie, a lot of us can just jump and shoot, and you're fighting a god-level character, the Sentry. We do get sneak peeks of that, and I know some people were like, well, what's the threat? This big black shadow that's turning people in, that's just poofing them in existence. And some people were saying, like, is it Null? Is it, the Shadow King? No, it's the Void. It's clearly the Void. Since we have Sentry in here, it's the Void. I'm very curious to see MCU Sentry. I will give this movie that that I am very excited to see what MCU Sentry is going to do. I hope they don't kill him, because you could honestly do a movie about the Sentry. You could straight up do a movie about the Sentry on his own, dealing with the Void. You could really just do the Jeff Lemire story alone on that. Like, yeah, you could totally do you could absolutely do something with the in the MCU with the Sentry, to counter Superman, with DC, all that. So I gotta say that's probably a smart idea right there. For other things, I just kind of feel like the jokes aren't working for me. And again, it feels like a plot that we saw in David Ayer's. It really does feel like we saw this already in David Ayer's Suicide Squad. Think about it. A squad of superheroes who are just kind of like put together as a team to replace the Avengers who aren't around, and they're also going to be controlled by the government, controlled by one person, Fontaine, and they're also going to be fighting an opponent that is god level, like how the Suicide Squad went to fight the Enchantress. And I also have a feeling that, like the Enchantress, Fontaine's also going to have the Sentry be tied to the Sentry and trying to use him as a weapon. So I feel like we're just doing the Marvel version of Ayer's Suicide Squad. Will it be better than Ayer's Suicide Squad? God, I hope. I mean, but then again, it's pretty easy to go over garbage. And I don't mistake my malaise over this movie for disinterest or something of that nature. It's more along the lines of this movie really, it's good, but I'm not super excited for it. And who knows? This movie could excite. This movie could be good, and Jurassic World Rebirth might suck. That's always the thing with movies. As of right now, we don't know. Because again, I always go back to the first Omen, where it's like, yeah, that movie was great. That movie was awesome. I mean, that movie was going to suck at first, but then I thought that movie was great, but at the trailers and all the promotion, I was just like, this movie's going to be mediocre, and then it turned out to be really fucking good, and my favorite movie of last year. So, who knows, maybe this might be the best one. And I'm also going to throw out this theory, that I think they're going to make the Thunderbolts the Dark Avengers, because that asterisk really bothers me, and I think that's what they're kind of going to change at the end, is like, Thunderbolts, Dark Avengers. There you go. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of these trailers? Did you guys like them, hate them? Comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.